I'm currently in a secret hidden location. Kirsty's garden. I kind of picked a wrong day to do this intro outside because it's freezing. Shh. Different kind of video today. It's more of a cinematic. This week, something a little bit different. And before I start to talk about the video that you're gonna see, I'm not even sorry for the clickbait because that's helped my channel grow. So that means you are now watching more of the videos I kind of want to make as well, on top of the vlogs that I do. Oh, we hit 50,000 subscribers. Party poppers? No, nothing, confetti. Okay, yeah, so we hit 50,000 subscribers, so thank you for that, guys. Really awesome. Appreciate it. Considering I started in September, it's a pretty big deal. About a year ago, I met this book author / novelist. He goes by the name of Mecca, and he's written a few books. So last year, he contacted me to do some promo work for these books. And he had an idea to go into central Hackney and film that area. At that time when he was filming, he was promoting his book My Sister's Pain, and one of the big deals for him was that he got to do the launch of this book at Hackney Empire. Hackney Empire is a massive sort of theatre place where you have different theatre productions on there. But because I really love the footage that we used, I didn't want to just scrap it. I wanted to reuse it as much as I can. The other day I was flicking through my old hard drives and I found all this footage. Now what makes this so perfect is that one of his books called Ambitions of the Deprived is actually set in Hackney, and the footage we shot was in Hackney. So really what I wanted to do with this video is to give everybody the vibe of where this book is set. If you're looking at this video and you're listening to his chapters or the sections he's going to be reading out, and you're thinking, oh, but we don't see this on the video when he talks about that. That's not kind of the vibe I was going for. Let yourself zone out, look at the images, look at the cinematics, and just listen to the story.
Junior walked through Ridley Road Market, careful not to step on toes of passers-by, squinting to ensure his new Nikes didn't get abused in the process. He cursed inwardly as yet another person stood in front of him to peer at the fish displayed. Sidestepping just in time to avoid crashing into the back of him, Junior continued his journey. Nearing the top of the market, which would lead him to the main road, Junior saw a young mother who looked no older than 19. She had long dark hair, her skin pale white, coloured slightly by the bruises on her face. Skin covered in faded pair of denim jeans, a sad looking grey hooded top and beat down shoes. She looked unkempt. Her soundtrack, The Screaming Child and a Pram. She looked tired of the tune. Ignoring the scream, she continued pestering the butcher to let her off the pound she was short of. Junior sighed, looked back in disbelief and continued to the bus stop ahead. The dancing raindrops falling against the bus shelter were drowned by the thumping bass entering Junior's eardrums. He was desperate to escape the arguing and shouting that surrounded him. Volume turned to the maximum, he bobbed his head to the beat. Across the road, "Demand living wage, not minimum wage," was scrawled in passionate black graffiti against the concrete wall. He nodded in silent agreement. Clambering on a packed bus, Junior's discomfort could only manage 3 stops before his finger found the bell and he escaped into the cold air. The weather was miserable. Like a child who had lost his dummy, the clouds boiled repetitively. Even so, Junior decided to take his chances. It was supposed to be summer, mid-June, and the temperature refused to rise above the breezy 15 degrees. Briefly checking the time, his leisurely pace quickened and his inner sat-nav diverted to the side road shortcut. Momentarily, his attention was captured by the contrast of Lawford Road. Generous terrace houses boasted expensive cars in every driveway. Even the birds seemed to favour the large trees spaced evenly across the road. His eyes found his reality. 100 yards away, a desolate sight of tower blocks, tiny windows and cracked paintwork, symmetrical yet obscene. With a last glance, he took in the beautiful distraction before commencing to the council estate, overflowing with last week's bins, litter and badly spelt graffiti. The officers started searching all 4 boys. Pressed up against the wall, they watched and felt hands patting them down. Embarrassment filled the countenance of Jamie, Samuel and Junior as they realized they were prime entertainment for a multitude of partygoers across the street. Jason was filled with aggression, hating the violation he was experiencing. He made sure his feelings were known as he maintained eye contact with the officer. With every passing second, the vein on the side of his temple pulsated in anger. His hands were screwed into a fist and his jaw clenched tighter. At 5'11", he was the tallest amongst his friends and refused to be intimidated. Not by the police, not tonight. Fingers were pointed at them from pedestrians, drivers and people on the top of the deck of the bus. A typical sight, 4 young men being searched by the police. They must be guilty or something. Eventually, the search was over. Sergeant Stone stood back with a dissatisfied look on his face. As they approached the oncology ward, Jason had no idea what to expect. He noticed Jamie overlooked with sadness and respectfully kept silent. He didn't know what to say anyway. This was the first time Jason had visited Mr. Marker in the hospital. He was scared. They entered the room and Jason couldn't help but notice the change in Mr. Marker's appearance. He was a shadow of his former self. Life seemed to have left his body, leaving behind a wispy, weak replacement. A full head of hair, once proudly groomed, was gone, and Jason noticed his face and body was thinner. Every bone was noticeable. Jamie had become used to seeing his dad this way. For Jason, however, it was a lot to take in. Mrs. Okoli was in tears, the weight of the events forcing her to her knees. She was desperate to comfort her son, to let him know everything would be alright. She attempted to get past the police. They violently pushed her aside, warning her she would be arrested also. Hiding behind her father, Junior's younger sister watched the commotion in confusion. She had never seen the police this close up and knew that her brother must have been involved in something terrible. She loved her brother and was scared that he would be hurt. Looking up at her dad's face, she asked to be held. But her dad was too busy shouting to hear her. She ran and hid under the living room table. The police handed a warrant to Junior's father. After searching the whole house, they came out with some of Junior's clothes which they had placed in the big see-through evidence bag. Junior kept screaming, "I didn't do anything. You have the wrong person." However, his cries were unheard as neighbors congregated, pointed in harsh criticism at another young black criminal. As the court was in session, Junior saw the other co-defendants. Anger burnt within him as he reflected on how their actions had ruined his life. He was not a criminal. Before giving their pleas, Junior was hopeful that the crew would accept responsibility for their actions and exonerate him. His knees weakened as one by one they pleaded not guilty. Not guilty? How could they possibly do this to him? Tarring them all with the same brush, when he was in fact innocent. Blood boiling within him, Junior noticed a smirk from one of the other defendants. He was enraged, but could do nothing about it. His attention returned to the proceedings. The trial was set to begin in 9 months. Where Junior would spend that time would depend on the judge. A wrinkly white old man with a stern look on his face. His hopes began to diminish. Standing strong, Victoria presented a case for Junior to be granted bail. Her experience shone as her arguments echoed around the room. She highlighted his exemplar record, no prior convictions, attempting to convince them he wasn't a flight risk, promising the judge that should he grant Junior bail, he would be monitored weekly in appointments at the police station. She concluded her case. In the public gallery, Junior's friends and family sat, grief-stricken. Anxiety fell on Junior as he awaited the outcome. He found no comfort in the faces of his supporters. The pain in his mum's eyes hit him forcefully, cracking his heart in the process. He projected a fake smile, desperate to look together. It didn't last long. Despite Victoria's compelling case, the judge denied Junior bail, declaring he would be remanded into custody due to the seriousness of the crime. The words spun around Junior's head as he struggled to process them. Surely this couldn't be real. 9 months in jail for a crime he hadn't committed.
hope you guys enjoyed that. If you do, please leave a like and, you know, leave a nice comment, leave a constructive comment. That's what I like to see. Maybe as I make more vlogs, I'll be able to show you guys what else I've been doing in the past before I've even started this YouTube channel. I think it'll be nice to show you guys the different productions I've been on and all the music videos I've shot. Apart from the This music video tracks, yes, I've done others. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments if you want more of this, what other stuff you might want to see. I'm going to try my best to make it. But yeah, see you guys in the next video.